There is a truly epic battle for the title of the most realistic GTA. It's a genuine clash spanning years with an ongoing war of arguments that never stops for even a single moment. Two factions within the same community fight savagely and relentlessly, all with the common goal of determining which is the most realistic GTA in the entire saga. Well, maybe it's not that serious, perhaps all of the above just boils down to 4 or 5 Discord discussions or maybe a handful of comments on a video like this one. But still, the history of this war goes back many years, and today, after all that time, we continue with this video where I'll show you the ways GTA 4 surpasses GTA 5, but also the ways GTA 5 outshines GTA 4. All of this with the ultimate goal of figuring out which game came closer to realism before GTA 6 arrives to blow everything else out of the water. The first point, in addition to being realistic, could also be considered quite an entertaining pastime if you're a psychopath like me. Just kidding, this is a game, so none of it really counts. If you're unsure about what to do in GTA 4, you can strategically position yourself near a cliff or a high place without barriers and dedicate your time to pushing people who are strolling peacefully and innocently down the street, completely unaware of what's coming. This, of course, will result in their gruesome deaths. But the remarkable part of this and what sets it apart from GTA 5 is the fact that the NPC will, in some cases, attempt to save themselves by grabbing onto anything they can to avoid falling, though nothing will ultimately stop their terrible fate.
Oh damn, this is fun, can I do it?
In GTA 5, on the other hand, they won't make any effort to grab onto something to save their lives. I guess they prefer to meet their demise after spending more than a decade trapped in a city constantly bombarded by flying motorcycles wreaking havoc daily. It's clear that artificial intelligence advanced between GTA 4 and GTA 5. It could be argued that GTA 4's NPCs have more realistic details such as their behavior toward the environment, their actions and animations, and even their interaction with the player. But when you take Liberty City's citizens out of the perfectly programmed routines they're meant to follow and make them improvise a little, that's when the real problems start. Truly awful. The best example is their routes, whether it's a person repeatedly bumping into a vehicle like they have some sort of mental glitch or not knowing how to choose the right moment to get out of a car. It doesn't matter what's on the other side of the door, water, a cliff, fire, sharks, or even a copy of GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. None of it matters. As long as the door opens, the character will exit through it. In GTA 5, however, this isn't the case. If there's any danger, the character won't hesitate to use the passenger side door instead. Though it might seem unrelated, the question I'm about to ask is crucial for the next point. Do you remember that one of the changes introduced in the so-called expanded and enhanced GTA 5 for PS5 and Xbox Series was the projection of shadows? That is, the realistic detail where when the headlights of a vehicle shine on an entity, be it a person or an object, it casts a dynamic shadow that moves and shifts in real time according to the subject. It's undoubtedly a significant leap forward for GTA 5 as its PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One versions couldn't achieve this. However, surprisingly enough, back in 2008, GTA 4 already had these shadows perfectly implemented, functioning at the same level as GTA 5 today. It's incredible to think that with GTA 4, Rockstar gave us the expanded and enhanced experience right from the start, using technology they wouldn't manage to incorporate into the next GTA until its third PC re-release. The street trash in GTA 5 is oddly more detailed than in GTA 4, both in its physics and its design. The trash in Los Santos surpasses that of Liberty City. We can see this in action when we run over any object with a vehicle, as it will move in a much more realistic manner. This is also evident if we interact with it in other ways, such as shooting at spray cans we find on the ground, which will release a stream of paint. However, the big downside to this detail is that no matter how many times we shoot the can, the paint won't stop coming out, even though after the first shot the gas pressure should already be gone. If there's one thing that's genuinely fun in GTA 4, it's getting drunk. Somehow, this game has the best details in this aspect, easily surpassing GTA 5 and providing a hilariously entertaining pastime. Once the party ends and Nico Bellic and his friend try to make their way back home, the real show begins. You'll notice that the way they walk is far more unpredictable and random than in GTA 5.
You should subscribe to Kirsty, my friend.
With the character suddenly veering off in unexpected directions and tripping over the slightest obstacle. You can even approach someone and somehow end up hugging them or falling to the ground together. The reactions of the characters are truly the crown jewel of this experience. In contrast, in GTA 5, Drunkenness merely alters the walking animation, which follows the same pattern every time and lacks the sensitivity or the absurdly hilarious interactions with NPCs that GTA 4 offers. Somehow, GTA 4 already managed to capture that absurd perception of the world that years later would be perfected in Red Dead Redemption 2 with the mission A Quiet Time. For some reason in GTA 4, even though Rockstar included convertible vehicles, they didn't implement the functionality to open and close the car's roof. Not even the NPCs can operate this feature. This led to some creative workarounds. For example, at the car wash, if you take a convertible to be cleaned, it can't use the same cinematic sequence as other vehicles. Instead, you'll get a unique scene where a poor guy who seems to have been beaten down by this cruel society comes over to wash your car with a rag. This man might very well be Rockstar's biggest hater. But ultimately, this ends up being a point in favor of GTA 4, since in GTA 5, convertibles can't be washed washed in any way. That said, GTA 4 has its own drawbacks. Sometimes it rains just like in real life, and when an NPC is driving a convertible during a downpour, they're left with no choice but to curse the moment they decided to buy a car without a roof. Niko Bellic might be a murderer, a criminal, a psychopath, and a cold-blooded, ruthless individual. But above all, he's a gentleman. This is evident in his two distinct animations for stealing a car, depending on whether the driver is a man or a woman. When stealing from a man, Niko is extremely aggressive, using violence from the very first moment to throw the driver out of the car. However, when taking a car from a woman, Niko does so in a much gentler and more subtle manner, avoiding the use of violence that he'd apply to a man. In GTA 5, while the game offers a wide variety of animations for car thefts, the characters don't distinguish between men and women. Both are met with the same punch to the face. There are two ways to look at this. Maybe GTA 4 is more detailed in this aspect, or perhaps GTA 5, being a more modern game, is more focused on equality. But if the latter is true, one could argue it inadvertently increases gender-based violence, which leaves Rockstar in a bad light either way. So it's probably better to move on to the next point. Explosions in GTA 4 are generally more detailed than those in GTA 5, especially when it comes to the physical aspects and the behavior of objects and entities interacting with the blast. However, as with most things, there are exceptions. In GTA 4, the notable exception in explosions comes down to a small but impactful detail when a vehicle blows up. In GTA 5, Rockstar made it so that when a car explodes, the explosive you've used to trigger the blast will first detonate, producing a basic physical effect of force and damage. Then after a brief delay, there will be a secondary explosion from the car's fuel tank. However, when you analyze the same kind of explosion in GTA 4, you'll notice it's surprisingly simpler. There's only one explosion which simultaneously accounts for the projectile and the gas tank. Adding to the list of incredibly realistic explosion details in GTA 4 are the effects they have on us as players. One of these, though not the only one, is how a nearby explosion can deafen us. If you're too close to a blast, you'll notice your hearing becomes impaired. Sometimes this is accompanied by a ringing sound. Gradually, your hearing will return in a realistic manner until you're back to normal. This is something that, of course, doesn't happen in GTA 5, where you can hear everything perfectly regardless of how close you were to the explosion. Alright, we all get it. Niko Bellic is the absolute GOAT, a kind of Eastern European superhuman capable of surviving just about anything. Well, almost anything. But then again, he can survive this. Just look at what the great Niko Bellic can endure. This guy's a beast, no question about it. But I don't think that excuses the fact that he doesn't suffer a single scratch. No matter what happens to him, and I repeat, no matter what happens, he emerges unscathed. In GTA 5, however, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor display a wide range of injuries on their bodies after accidents, adding a much more realistic touch. You'll see cuts on their skin if they've been stabbed or slid down a mountain, bruises if they've taken a hard fall, bullet holes if they've been shot, and major damage from explosions or even shock attacks. In GTA 5, you can visually appreciate the toll that life as a Grand Theft Auto protagonist takes on a person. Now, even though the next point is the complete opposite of realism, it does make the game much more dynamic and easier to play. I'm talking about cheat codes. In GTA 4, cheats were entered through the phone and conveniently saved in a menu, making it incredibly easy to spawn a vehicle, lower your wanted level, or restore your health. Then came GTA 5, which brought back classic cheat codes with button combinations. While some players might prefer this, the reality is that these cheats aren't saved anywhere. The worst part, GTA 5 also has phone-based cheats, but they're not saved in the menu like in GTA 4. So if you choose to use this method, you'll have to dial an annoyingly long number every single time you want to spawn a car, and there's no handy shortcut in the phone to access your cheat library. The collision mechanics of helicopter blades in GTA 5 are realistic, as you can confirm by sticking your head into them at full speed and watching how quickly your character's life ends. In GTA 4, however, helicopter blades will pass right through your character, making it impossible to use them as a weapon or as a method of self-destruction. While this does save you from mission failures caused by stepping in the wrong place in terms of realism and detail, GTA 5 clearly comes out on top in this aspect. Something that was inexplicably lost in GTA 5 is the phone call animations when riding a motorcycle. I get it, technology evolves, and nowadays it's not necessary to hold the phone up to your ear to talk, but what kind of technology allows you, without any headset, hands-free device, or any gadget at all, to keep listening to the call and talking to the other person? In GTA 5, wind and its effects were incredibly detailed, and one thing that produces a ton of wind is helicopters. As we saw in GTA 4, a helicopter can distort water or create huge clouds of dust, but it will do absolutely nothing to the leaves on the trees. In GTA 5, however, helicopters do affect vegetation, although the movement isn't all that significant. You'll have to get really close just to make a few bushes sway. Something that might really surprise you when playing GTA 4 is a small detail: seeing a driver throw trash out the car window. They'll do it just as you're about to pass by, almost like they're tossing a banana peel as if they think they're in Mario Kart. At first glance, it might seem like an unimportant detail, but when you've spent a decade in GTA 5's Los Santos, where everyone drives with a default pose, both hands on the wheel and the windows always closed, seeing this kind of animation in a game that came out 5 years earlier makes you wonder why the quality of work seems to be declining over time. And let's not forget that GTA 5 re-released 6 years later, then again 7 years later, and finally 14 years later. So this detail leaves us questioning the direction things have taken. But since we can't fight this change, I'll just remind you not to replicate this behavior in real life. Throw your trash in the bin just like the great Nico Bellic would do. And now, using up the last few seconds of this video, I have to say there's one very important factor when determining which of these two games is the clear winner. Something that completely invalidates every single point discussed in this video and any similar ones you might have seen. The most crucial detail in reaching a final conclusion is you, your preferences, and how both games make you feel. Which one is your favorite? Some of you might lean more toward fond memories, others might value visuals, graphics, and details. It could be the feelings these games evoke or how much fun you have with your friends in an ever-evolving infinite world. The variety, online experience, dynamism, and arcade-like fun. Or maybe you prefer serious dark storylines, pure cinematography, compelling narratives, or unforgettable characters. Whatever it is that makes you choose GTA 5 or GTA 4 as your favorite, that's the most valid argument you can have, and the only one you should follow. At the end of the day, this video was simply meant to rigorously compare two outstanding titles in this franchise. Despite being released in very different eras, both were ahead of their time and undoubtedly set a new standard, leaving a lasting impact on this very special video game series. So remember to keep these words in mind when debating in the comments, always showing respect toward opinions that differ from your own. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could follow me. It helps a lot. Thanks for watching and see you next time.